Let's bring in Jeff Passan, the baseball insider for the mothership. I know you're busy. We appreciate you carving out a little time here. Let me start with what happened in Houston last night with Joe Kelly. Nobody got hit, but there was certainly intent there. Where does Major League Baseball stand on the retaliation with the Houston Astros?
Dan, intent is a really funny thing because I want to very clearly say I do think he probably was throwing at Alex Bregman. But Brandon McCarthy, who I have a lot of respect for and who was a major league pitcher for a long time, said to me on Twitter, "How do you know?" And his point was Joe Kelly is one of the wildest pitchers in baseball. Joe Kelly had absolutely no control of his pitches last night. Joe Kelly's the guy who, during quarantine, broke a window at his house trying to throw a changeup. Like, I don't know if you saw that video, but his wife posted a video on Instagram.
Do you
And said,
think he did it on purpose just to give the appearance that he's wild? So when he faced the Houston Astros, then he would have a good excuse.
It would be the most spectacular long con of all time, and I absolutely hope that that is true. So let's assume that there was intent there.
Right.
Like you said, didn't hit the guy,
Yeah.
didn't get thrown out of the game by an umpire. I think if there's going to be discipline for anything, Dan, and I haven't gotten this answer yet talking with people who are in charge of this sort of thing, but I think if there's going to be discipline for anything, it would be for the benches clearing. It pretty explicitly states in Major League Baseball's 113-page protocol, do not mess around when it comes to brawls. Do not get off the bench. Do not congregate in large groups. There was no social distancing being enforced when these teams got off the benches and were sort of mingling and doing the little baseball dance there. So I don't think there are going to be any suspensions. I've certainly been wrong on this thing before, but I just don't foresee at this point MLB coming down with the hammer, even if Joe Kelly was throwing at Alex Bregman.
I think the reaction by Joe Kelly to Correa when he struck him out and what he said to him leads me to believe.
It was so stupid.
But that's why it leads me to believe that there was intent there.
Yeah.
And so, and I understand the intent. He was with the Red Sox, who lost to the Astros in 2017. Now he's trying to fit in with this year's Dodgers, saying, I'm going to go out there and I'll buzz the tower with a couple of these guys. And I certainly understand it, but I don't know what happens tonight when these two teams meet. I'm guessing both sides, both managers, both pitchers, no nonsense, I'm running you. And you can't afford to have one of your starting pitchers, especially if you're the Astros. They've already lost Garrett Cole. They lost Justin Verlander. And the Dodgers can't afford to have a pitcher suspended as well. So I don't know where we're headed tonight, but I'm tuning in.
I hope, you know what, Dan? I hope it's to a reasonable place where 5-ounce projectiles aren't thrown 100 miles per hour behind someone's head. Like, I hope, every year when baseball starts, I sit there thinking maybe this is the year where baseball players aren't going to act like Neanderthals and try and enact frontier justice via deadly like objects. That's what a baseball is. And if that fastball had hit Alex Bregman in the head, it can cause severe and permanent damage. And I just wish at some point baseball players would agree among themselves, let's not try to hurt one another. Even if you have been aggrieved in the past, let's not try to do something that could cause lifelong damage. It's just, it boggles my mind that we are in 2020 and guys are still at one another. And I understand that's how they've policed the game for the entirety of it. But still, the game's evolved, Dan, in so many other ways. Why can't it evolve in this one?
Yeah, but you can't throw at somebody's head. I don't like that you're able to throw that baseball and the pitchers don't have to bat because the DH. And if you pitch in the American League, I can throw at you and I'm not going to get hurt. My concern would be if I'm the Dodgers, I'm Dave Roberts, is guys, we sent a message yesterday. We beat them. We buzzed the tower a couple of times. I don't want any of my guys. I don't want Cody Bellinger going down. I don't want somebody throwing at our guys because that's the surprising part. If you're an Astros pitcher, are you allowed to then start going at the opposition? Because you have to protect your own players.
It's really interesting, Dan. I'm glad you brought up the Astros pitching earlier, because they have so many guys on the injured list now in their bullpen. I believe their bullpen has 9 rookies in it at this moment. And one of those guys, just because of baseball code and the way that the sport is thinking to himself, well, I have to go and show my teammates that I am willing to stand up for them and protect them. And I hope that cooler heads prevail here and that something like that doesn't happen. But everything is set up for another just weird and ugly night. And I would like to believe that if there is a suspension today, that's going to be the sort of thing that prevents that from happening.
Yeah.
Almost like Joe Kelly or other players getting off the bench are going to be suspended as a preemptive measure. But do you really want to open that Pandora's box where you suspend someone so something doesn't get exacerbated? I don't know if you're Major League Baseball, if you could or should do that.
He's Jeff Passan. He covers baseball for ESPN. I don't know if there's a manager who has more pressure on them this year than Dave Roberts. Given the fact it's a 60-game sprint, if they don't make the World Series, finish that sentence.
If they don't make the World Series, they will be extremely disappointed, but understanding that when you are in a playoff format where you can lose in the first round by losing 2 games in a sport where an inferior team beats a superior team 2 games in a row all the time and 2 out of 3 all the time, I don't know if that is a fireable offense.
Do you think he has the most pressure on him? Is that?
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I think that's absolutely, because let's remember what happened last October. I mean, if Dave Roberts had been let go after that NLDS game against the Washington Nationals, I don't think it would have surprised anyone. And I think you certainly could have made the argument for it. And I remember sitting there writing that column after Game 5, just the number of things that he did that were questionable, and the decision making there was just bad. But Dave Roberts, like everybody else who makes mistakes, has a chance to redeem himself this year, and he is working with the most talented team in baseball, Dan. Like, that's the thing. He's got so much at his disposal there. They have a finite amount of years with Cody Bellinger there and with Corey Seager there. Mookie Betts is going to be around for a while, and they have a great core. But every year you don't win a championship if you're the Dodgers, you're not maximizing what you can have, which is something that's dynastic. That's how good this core of talent is there. They can be a dynasty.
Let me get to the Marlins here, and I'm still trying to figure this out of baseball having a short-term and a long-term goal here, that they had to look at Sunday and say short-term or long-term. Long-term would have been, let's protect both teams, and if you have an outbreak, there's 4. And the Phillies didn't get to vote on this either. So they're facing them. They have no say in whether or not the Marlins take the field that day. And then here we are. The Marlins aren't going to be playing baseball till next Monday. What is there's so many questions here. They're not going to play 60 games.
No. I don't think, if you look at their schedule right now, Dan, they can make up the games that they're missing against the Washington Nationals. There's an off day in August. I think there's an off day in August or September, and they can pull a doubleheader here or there. But against the Orioles, there's just nowhere that they can make up those 4 games. So I think maximum right now, let's say they go to Baltimore for one off day, but are you really going to do that with 2 teams that in all likelihood are going to be either in last place or really low in the standings and not making the playoffs? No, I don't think they're going to go out of their way to try and get as close to a 60-game season as they can.
Yeah, but what do you do as far as winning percentage if there's other teams that don't play 60 games?
Dan, we're in 2020. Are you trying to apply logic to the world right now? Because if so, where the hell have you been for the last 4 months?
I apologize. I sometimes infuse logic into this program, and I apologize there, Jeff. When do the Marlins play again?
I don't know if it's Tuesday. I mean, right now they have an off day scheduled for Monday. Clearly, all their games are postponed through then.
Yeah.
But at this point, the questions for them are: how do they travel? How do they travel safely? Where do the players who are COVID positive go? Do they stay in Philadelphia, or are they able to take a charter or a bus back to Miami? I don't even know at this point what the plan is there. They're exploring all their options, and beyond that, can they field a representative team? Are they going to be able to get players from their alternate site in Jupiter, Florida? Are they going to claim? They've claimed three guys off waivers already. Are they going to go waiver hunting some more? Like, there are a lot of balls in the air right now, and I wouldn't say that playing Tuesday is by any means a guarantee for the Marlins at
It's
this point.
unbelievable. It just and if I'm a team,
Though, here's the thing though, Dan. What's the alternative?
I know, but I don't want to go to
That's the problem
Miami.
with
If
it.
I'm a team, I don't want to go to Miami. I do
Yeah.
not want to go to Miami. And then
Do you not want to go to Miami because of what's going on in Miami, or because of what's gone on with the Marlins, or both?
both, both,
Yeah.
and then you have Bob Nightingale from USA Today saying that some of the Marlins went out on the town when they were in Atlanta, I believe. I get.
Yeah, I don't know how true that is.
Oh, really?
I mean, I've just, I've heard that rumor. There are all kinds of rumors that come out when something like this happens, and I don't know if we're ever going to fully know ground zero of that outbreak. I just don't. The
If
Major
they
League
went to
Baseball,
Magic City for wings, then Jeff, then I think that we have a story.
Dan, if they went to Magic City for wings, then it was well worth it, because L Duncan, my friend on SportsCenter, has been talking up Atlanta chicken wings for the last 24 hours with me, trying to argue that they are better than the wings at the Peanut here in Kansas City. And we are going to have a wing off at some point. She wants me to come down to Atlanta to eat the wings. That's how
Wow.
much she loves the wings.
Wow. I know you're busy. Thank you for making some time for us, as always, Jeff.
I always make time for you, my friend. Thanks for having me.
That's Jeff Passan. He covers baseball for ESPN.